All right, we're back up. Quick financial update. As you guys saw, we have a slight increase to the end of to the projected end of the year surplus by approximately 128,129,000 dollars. We've had some movements in salary, FML turnover, and the like. Um, so some of the teachers, we do have some teachers who are currently exhausted. There are a lot of sick time, and those teachers currently being paid from the sick bank. So normally, what we do is that we would just pretty much reduce the salary line, to disencumber the salary line, and we will just pay those teachers from the sick bank line just for accounting purposes. So there'll be some offset with that in the sick bank line, and also with our increase in the subcategory. We've made some reduction to the projected end of year balance for health insurance. We our census is significantly lower than where we thought we would be. We're currently during the open enrollment phase for fiscal 24, so we'll have a census to see how the census will be then. So we have some savings in for health insurance, and we're slightly over in our sick bank line. Professional services, we made some adjustments there.
Before you go there, Phil, just like in terms of the health insurance, for the cards and the materials for the employees, that's all
Yep, we're
handed out or been
yeah,
will be.
absolutely. We actually just got an update today that Cigna, we send this, so they received our initial census. So they're pretty much working with our initial census. So they're going to be mailing out cards within sometime next week. And then the HSA cards will be mailed the following, I think we're aiming for the week of the 19th or so to mail the HSA cards out. So we're on track and things are looking good.
Hey, Phil, this is Peter. I have a question about the new hire for Director of Human Resources. His salary is slightly higher than Tracy's, but not Tracy's.
Yes.
So how is that covered? Because we didn't budget that number for the upcoming school year, nor for current expenses. So how are we covering that?
Yeah, so it's so typically what we do, Peter, is we really wait to see how things are trending for the start of the school year to see if we'll need to make any adjustments. So we really won't know where we will be until we start a year, until that pretty much at the end of the hiring process. So fingers crossed that we'll be able to do that. If we aren't able to cover that with any kind of salary savings, we will have to find that adjustment somewhere else in our budget. So it's pretty much going to be a dance that we'll have to do from the start to the end.
Okay, so we'll revisit that in September. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I think we'll review it sometime September, October or so.
Okay, great.
Perfect. We made some adjustment to professional services, slight reduction to PPS spread, their consulting services, $24,000. Sports officials, we're paying out less for sports officials. We ran fewer teams this year, and we also did not host as many postseason events or state events this year. Revenue offsets, we're seeing better than expected receipts for gate receipts and participation receipts, approximately $14,000. Our ticket sales and parking fees are coming in slightly less than budget, at about $32,000 less than budget. And we're pretty much at the end now with our receipts for preschool tuition, and we're coming in better than expected at approximately $29,000. We did see an increase in our SPED excess cost reimbursement. There was an increase to the reimbursement rate, which resulted in approximately $116,000 more than anticipated. Our expected expenditures are pretty much in line to what we have budgeted. So this is primarily due to the increase in the reimbursement rate. Just want to point out for our group that the town did receive less money this year for the educational cost sharing. And that is because there was an adjustment. So typically the state does review excess cost reimbursements from the previous year in April. There was a reduction to we're pretty much overpaid because the way the process works is that we do an initial expenditure report in December. Then we do another update in February. We get our final reimbursement in May. And during the audit process, there is a final pretty much review of all our expenditures. So during our final audit for fiscal 22, we were found that we had less expenses than we reported. So there was an approximately a $51,000 adjustment that was pretty much borne by the town. So we will report again next year after the audit, and during there's the state audit of their reimbursement costs to see if we need to make any adjustments, and we will just report out to the board sometime in May or June. We made a slight adjustment. We had a placeholder adjustment, $81,000 for reduction in expenditures. I pretty much just reduced that, and that's just offset in any other savings. So all in all, revenue offset, we have a month-over-month change of $46,000. Just want to highlight a few things. Included in our projected end-of-year expenditure is $46,000 for athletics. What was not included in our budget for next year is replacement of a wrestling mat, and also uniforms. There's uniforms that we're going to be replacing for football and for, I forgot what team, for girls. I think it's girls lacrosse or girls basketball. And these are pretty much at the end of their cycle. So there's a cycle for the replacement of uniforms so we're going to pretty much buy that early this year. And that's pretty much it. Internal services are trending, pretty much slightly below budget. So when we finalize the year, we'll make those adjustments to see where we are ultimately. So this is pretty much where we are. I do expect there will be some changes. I can't say for certain. I do not expect that there will be a downward adjustment to this number. More than likely, if there are any changes, it will be an increase to the projected surplus. But we won't know that number until we have gone through the summer and true everything up. So we will report on that in August, I do believe, because this is our final meeting for the school year. So that is it. Any questions?
I can't see Steve. I don't know. Steve, why don't you start, and I'll have a question. I think Melissa and I may ask the same question.
Go ahead, Peter.
So in August, we sort of know the final number, because I want to return back to the light bulb initiative and other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa talked about. So I think we left it as a sort of a test bed, one wing at a high school, to see how all the light bulb replacement goes, and to see if somehow can we build on that program through next year, right? And have it budgeted maybe for the following school year. Is that right? That we're good for?
Yep, you're absolutely right. So that money's already baked in, Peter. So we're still moving forward with that.
Right. We'll see how that goes as a one-year test bed, and maybe for the budget cycle in January, or given what we may have a surplus, assuming we have a surplus a year from now, maybe we can expand that program. I think that builds on Melissa's sustainability concept. So it'd be good just to keep a pulse on that. Thanks.
Yeah, and just to add to that, so last year we started to change out some light bulbs in the north house at the elementary school at Hurlbut. So we do plan to continue that. So we're slowly chipping away at all these various items. So we should be in a good place, or in a better place next year. We'll have more knowledge just in terms of the LED replacement, and we will be able to be more thoughtful in the planning and the rollout of the LED lights.
All right, that's good. We're on the same page.
Yeah,
we're in the same.
Yep, and just as we're talking about sustainability, I can't remember if we discussed last month that the EV charging station is now live.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Are they being utilized?
Yes, they are. I mean, now I think we have on rotation about 3 or 4 vehicles that's on that use it, pretty much use it on every day. So what
Yeah.
we did for this year is that just for the remainder of the school year, we've pretty much made it free for staff. Beginning of the start of the school year, there'll be a there'll be a fee for that for the staff and also for the general public. Right now, if anyone from the public uses the charging station, there is a fee.
Okay, that's great.
And is the general public limited to after school hours?
We don't have a sign in terms of sign, but because they're being used on a regular basis, they're pretty much forced to do that after hours.
And I did have one question I forgot to ask during the Mike's presentation. With all of the sidewalk work that's probably going to be happening this summer too, and I know Phil and Mike, you guys said that all of our projects here at the schools are on a really tight time window. Are we aware of, the timing with the town, and are there any concerns that we could have problems either getting people to the campus or in being impacted in a negative way with respect to all the sidewalk work?
No, we've had a few meetings since the project began. They've actually already met to South House parking lot. They're going to be using, obviously we know going up the up School Road, they're going to have a flagger team front and back of the units. So whatever they're doing on the road, they're going to have a team of guys moving traffic along. They'll pretty much be off the road. And their plan is to cone the remaining part of the road that they're not using to still be able to get 2 lanes by, but they'll still have a flagging company with 2 guys or 2 women, what have you, to keep traffic moving along. So I don't foresee an issue. I've already spoken with the town. I know they do their triathlon event with the kids, and they bike down to the access road. So all this has been discussed. So
Okay.
no, I don't foresee any issues, and the guys move along really quick. So I'm guarantee that unless we have some serious weather issues, these guys are going to be done long before we start school.
Okay, that'd be great.
Do you think that's all the information that we have to share at this time?
Okay.
Yeah, Phil, just since we have a couple minutes, one last thing on the excess cost reimbursement. Do we have a document that tracks that, like in terms of year to year to year, where it's, I'm curious to see how, has it gotten worse over time, right?
The reimbursement?
Yeah.
No, I would say that our reimbursement has gotten better over time. For
Oh,
two
has
reasons.
it?
Yeah, for 2 reasons. One, of course, we have more expenditure, right? And secondly, over the past 2 years, what we have seen is that the reimbursement rate has increased. And I think there's actually a legislature that's currently in place that does address the increase. It's not significant, but they're trying to realign the overall reimbursement levels. So I think for us, from a budget perspective, we have been more conservative just because of the uncertainty with what the final reimbursement rate would be. And I think we were conservative as well for the fiscal 24 budget. But I think right now, knowing that they're trending to be a little bit higher, we can be more aggressive, so to speak, for fiscal 25. So I think all in all, we're at a good place with the overall reimbursement rate.
Okay, that's encouraging because, I just wanted to, see if there was anything we could do with our state legislators on our end, if we felt like the reimbursement was moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, no, unlike everything else with the state, this is one thing that has a minor increase or somewhat of a positive adjustment. And
Okay.
So we're good.
Steve, Peter, do you have any other questions
No,
for Phil?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Phil, do you have anything else to report, or the only other agenda item is the minutes when you're ready?
We're good.
Okay. All right. Well, then that just leaves the minutes. Gentlemen, did you get a chance to take a look at them? I read through them.
I did. They're fine with me.
Okay. Peter?
They're fine with me too.
Okay, let's have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Peter, do you want a second?
I second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we've approved the minutes. That's the last agenda item unless anyone wants to bring something
No,
up.
just a quick non-meeting. Who's your carrier, Peter? Since I lost mine as well.
Optimum.
Yeah, I guess they must be having issues.
Right. And my Verizon data doesn't work either, but it's Optimum for my cable. I think they're working on a line somewhere on Georgetown Road and they just clipped it. Anyway, I'll see everyone next Friday afternoon and evening, right? Or most people.
Oh, graduation, yes.
Yes, it's exciting. All right, well, I think we can adjourn the meeting. Thanks everyone for their time. I'll make a motion to adjourn. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Aye.
Okay.
All
All right,
those in
all in
favor?
favor? Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye-bye.
You as
Bye-bye.
well.
Thank you.
Bye.